visible. And he asked me one last question. If vegetarians eat vegetables, what do humanitarians eat? I'm sure the next speaker will answer. She is, of course, one with a demonstrated history of working in the international trade and development industry. She looked out, studied hotel management in Singapore, went ahead to do a dynamics in cooperation, conflicts, and negotiation, international relations, and diplomacy. She had also worked leading brands like Le Méridien and Hilton. She's respected at home at the Seychelles Tourism Board, where she was CEO. The New York Times described her as hardworking, determined, that she loves photography, and she loves to cook. The African face of the UNWTO, director of the UNWTO Regional Department for Africa, to help us moderate the next session. Please put your hands together as I invite Madam El to do us the honors of facilitating this next session to help understand what was their pain and, if possible, answer all their questions. Another round of applause for her.
Good morning, everybody. Can we have a round of applause for the introduction he gave about the kids? So before we start and I introduce the theme of what we're going to discuss, can I ask that we please lead the students on stage to join the Honorable Minister as well as the Secretary General. Please, let's applaud them as they join us on stage. I'm sure we are all excited to hear what they want to ask the two leaders of the tourism sector. So welcome once again. Thank you. His Excellency Alhaji Lai Mohammed, Minister of Information, Culture and Tourism of Nigeria, UNWTO Secretary General Zurab Pololikashvili, Ministers of Tourism from the Africa region, thank you for joining us here for this very important event. International delegates, all participants, a very warm welcome to you all, and thank you sincerely also to the CEO of the National Theatre for making this happen today. I wish you all a very warm welcome to Lagos, Nigeria, where we're hosting this global conference on linking tourism, culture, and the creative industries. To make the kids comfortable, I just want to share a little bit the concept behind this session this morning. We know Africa is the youngest continent in the world, with 60% of the African population under the age of 25. And Africa will thus rely very heavily on young people who constitute the future of the tourism sector that will be the key to drive the evolution of the industry and pave the way of its transformation, especially in the renewed global context that has been brought about by the pandemic. Youngsters, as we've heard the two leaders say, will lead the future of the economic growth of the continent by unlocking the potential of the tourism sector as a catalyst to attract investments, as well as a key pillar to promote the uniqueness and the diversity of the African destinations worldwide, allowing Africa to flourish and to thrive. And UNWTO, as one of its core priorities, education, youth is at the center of it, and also with the UNWTO Agenda for Africa, Tourism for Inclusive Growth, we place youth empowerment through tourism as one of the main priorities to be fulfilled, with a view to create employment opportunities, generate added value, and spur socioeconomic development for the whole continent. And in this regard, I would also like to take us back to earlier this year, where UNWTO launched the first initiative, Global Youth Tourism Summit, the platform that was launched in Sorrento, Italy, with the aim of empowering youth to take an active part in the decision-making processes within the tourism sector. The GYTS, as we refer to it, recognized the young generations as a major source for development and social change by highlighting their potential to drive the sustainable development in the tourism sector. And the event obviously gathered quite a good number of countries and young delegates from all around the world, where they explored the different aspects of responsible and sustainable tourism, and also discussed with the Secretary General on global issues impacting people and the planet. And today, in the same vein, we are happy to welcome these young students who I'm sure are very excited, as I am today, to participate in this interactive session with the two leaders of the tourism sector. Some ground rules: the students are the only ones allowed to do the questions today, so it is their show. It will be one question per student to the two leaders. But before we allow the students to go on and share and express themselves, I have the pleasure to invite another youth, a very talented young Nigerian. Her name is Emanuela Oluchi. She is a young talented poet from Abia State of Nigeria, and she's been performing in high-level events from a very early age of 9 years old. But today, obviously, she will be sharing with us one of her compositions. So, Emanuela, could you join us on stage, please?
Good morning, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am Emanuela Onyuncheya, and I'm honored here this morning to present a spoken word poetry. I am a traveler, just like a rumbling wanderer, in search of the fine line between culture and tourism. For all I know is that tourism is a cultural phenomenon, and culture built up the brand identity that tourism sells. And tourism, though impacting in culture and society, it is also shaped by culture and society. But then it took just a little while to end my voyage of discovery, because I realized that this fine line is just a nation sitting on the tourism gold mine. And I'm not sure if any poetic device, mythos, or lines can fully justify the fact that this same nation is a rising tide that will lead all boats in life, because its potential possession is increasingly an important element of the tourism product, which gives a standout in the global market. I make bold to say that Nigeria is the home of tourism. Nigeria, a nation built upon ingenuity, a world of limitless opportunities, more that binds and separates her great entity, because buried in her are myriad of ethnicities, million souls of beautiful culture locked in a wonderful diversity. She holds a unique spirit of originality, an image of resilience and tenacity. Every aspect depicts the ever-flowing aura of her creativity and the awesomeness of her versatility. Nigeria, a nation built upon ingenuity, a world of limitless opportunities. Nigeria, a nation basking in rich and captivating biodiversity, the hotspot of 1 million creatures of endemic species, an ecosystem teeming great heterogeneity, vast calderas of majestic monoliths, lush greeneries, appearing as the absolute paragon of tranquility. Explore the confluence, cascade rushing over cliffs and serpentine streams, beautiful beaches and warm springs, likes of Wiki and Ikogosi, whispering green hills with scenes of emerald shade of Hollock, virgin vegetation disappearing into horizon, ubiquitous sights of flora and fauna that are anomalous, dotted like wild flowers. Discover the beauty in the giant boulders and rocks, with unique and natural contour, the serenity in the awesome caves of distinct size and shapes. This is the botanist's delight. Seraph's paradise and art's untrodden lullaby. Nigeria, a nation with art and outstanding aesthetics of 1,000 years, erected century after century in abject beauty. The terracotta, the bronze casting and benin antiquities, speaking and advocating, revealing our cultural sophistication and genius of the black art history. And every sartorial representation is high fashion and style, made by eclectic mix of colors and intricate design, existing among different tribes, from the northern Damboyo and Riga, to the eastern Isiagu, to the western Ashoke and Adire. Beads, corals, cowries, and countless regiments, expressing the finest and timeless pieces of 100 descents. She wears the untilted crown, depicting her dominance and finesse. Niger and its flavor. This is a nation distinguished by the pursuit for culinary perfection. It is a fact that can't be relinquished. Competitors are even better, throwing ice cubes at the sky in order for the sun to be extinguished. Clustered by rich arrays of cuisines, where the normal ritual or routine is for the mortar to be hit by the pestle to melt into a gastronomy that is supreme. And now I hear the sounds of the drums. It's beating, making her daughters sway their hip in the niche rhythm at the sound of every bedu, ogene, and kakaki, creating epic and genre-breaking masterpieces. She bore stars as giants moving with massive sprints, shaping the world's music scene. Feel the endless beats from the Afrocentric kings, legends as Burna Boy, Davido, Tiwa, and Wizkid. They are the building block to the establishment of Afrobeat. And the Nollywood, the country's great pride and exports, the second largest film industry in the world, building networks and connections, a powerful medium of expression, revealing talent while providing income. You see, the entertainment industry is just a mirror to reflect her key role and how she rose with the highest percentage of hit by your name. We remember how you answered the call when it came, widening the scope of how tourism sprouted up like a seed that was buried right after the emergence of the pandemic. Many words can't express, but we can put it to the test to strive and thrive in enriching lives. So tour Nigeria and see tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emanuela. You would agree with me that this was very inspiring of what this conference is all about, all the touch points that we will be unpacking over the 2 days. And we saw also the beautiful attire that she's carrying today. It's all part of the creative sector. So I guess now you are all excited and ready also to fire away with your questions. We will start by introducing yourself, and you ask your questions to the two leaders. We'll take 2 questions, and then we'll move around. I see that you're quite excited. You're looking at me. In case you want to start, you can tell us your name. You can use the mic next to you. If not, we'll see if the roving mic is working.
My name is Joan Obiano, and I'm from Pampas Private School. And I have 2 questions on sustainability. My first question is, since tourism involves traveling from one place to another using cars, planes, etc., how can we stop the damage done to the environment? My second question is, what is Nigeria doing to show itself as a country that practices responsible tourism?
Thank you so much. Very intense. 2 questions. You want to start, sir? Secretary General?
Elsa, it was not planned, you know. It's not fair. First of all, the questions are very difficult. And no, first of all, I want to greet Pamela, no, your name.
Emanuela.
For your excellent opening remarks, I would say. And you really made us very exciting of this conference. Great start and great. You made a presentation of your country, of even of our organization. I think better than we did this morning. Thank you very much, and have a good luck. You have a huge future, I'm sure, and let's be in touch with us, with our organization, and count on our full support always. Regarding our friends, it's first time for us again doing this kind of panel. We all are boring to listening our moderators and questions, but the questions are quite difficult. Okay, let's start from you. Welcome, dear friends. We are friends, no? All of us. I think that the whole world, and we are now here just after COP, now in Egypt, in Sharm el-Sheikh is happening one of the biggest events regarding sustainability and climate change, and your question was about sustainability. Now what we are doing, how we can solve the problems we have, and we have a lot of problems. COVID was one of pandemic and one of the crisis during last 2 years, and we always mention that the most important challenge is climate change and environment. So from our point of view, most important thing is to educate people, and what we are doing now and what your schools are doing, they put on the priority, and I'm sure that this question is coming from you. Why? Because you are learning something about sustainability, no, in the school, or not? Do you have some classes about sustainability in the school? Because in my childhood, I didn't know what is it. I didn't know what is UN, what is tourism, what is climate change, you know. So you are progressing, and I'm sure that with the knowledge and with education, you will do and you will understand more about sustainability. Tourism is affected a lot on that issue, and we have even a special department who is doing and who is creating the methodologies and guidelines how to fight against the challenges we all have. So protect the environment, it's one of the most important issue and challenge all we have. And who can solve this problem? It's you. Because we already did our job, horrible job on the planet, not me and Minister, all of us. And now it's a time, and it's a time to start to think about planet, to think about sustainable development, to think about habits which we have to change, and I'm sure, and that's why we want to involve and to have all of you with us. That's why you are here with us, because we have to learn together. We have to tell you our mistakes, what we did. And you, I'm sure that you will never repeat them. I'm sure that you will do better than we did. Our trips, our travels, our approach to nature, you know, and you are from the country which has huge potential in tourism, and nature, it's one of the most important part of your country. Nature and culture, I would say. So, very happy to have you with us. What Nigeria is doing to promote tourism, I think our dear minister will explain better than me. Minister, I can say a few words. You have one of the best minister in the world. I can say it. And putting and supporting your beautiful country and opening up. Nigeria has to be open. Nigeria has to be known all around the world like a tourism destination. And this is what we are doing together. That's why we are here. And I'm sure that Nigeria has a huge future, because this is the best recipe to create new jobs. And tourism will create millions of jobs in Nigeria, thanks to minister and thanks to government.
Thank you very much. I actually am more afraid of questions from younger elements than the older people, because they ask it as it is. I would, my first inclination was to say that Oluchi actually has answered all your questions, but I'm sure I won't be satisfied with that. Yes, it is true that tourism is about going from one place to the other. We actually do use, you know, aircraft. We use vehicles. We go by boat. And in each of these, I agree with you, we pollute the environment. This is a real issue. So the question really, or the issue is, how do we balance the environment on the one hand with the necessity of traveling. That is why one of the most important objectives of the UNWTO is actually to encourage and promote sustainable and responsible tourism in a manner that will be universally accessible to all. So on the one hand, we are promoting tourism, encouraging, people to travel by air, to travel by road. But at the same time, we are not unmindful of the effect of pollution, caused by aircraft, caused by, vehicles and the like. But on the other hand also, we also create jobs. We create connectivity between one group of people and the other. And we have embarked these days, especially at the UNWTO and at the various Ministry of Tourism, to actually promote things that would reduce pollution, such as renewable energy, such as improving and encouraging people to travel more by waterways, such as encouraging young people like you to have clubs where environmental issues will be discussed. And I'm sure, as you all know, the entire world today is in Egypt discussing the same question you've raised, which is how do we make this our universe sustainable? Because we have no other universe apart from this one. I agree with you absolutely. Therefore, we must be responsible in how we use it. We cannot, and we must not forget that this universe is not just for us alone. We need also to pass it on to you in a pristine condition. And that is why the entire world today is in Egypt discussing the same problem which you have raised there. You can imagine if all heads of states in the world are discussing this simple question and they are yet to find an answer. You can see my difficulty in answering this question. But one thing is clear, which is that there will be need for what we call climate justice. The world has moved away now from climate change to climate justice. Climate justice in the sense that we in Africa, and actually in the entire world, in the entire developing world, we are responsible for only a fraction of the pollution that has led us to where we are today, which is global warming. Now we are saying that those who are responsible for this global warming should also be honest, courageous enough to help us get out of the problem. And this is why you have this situation in COP27, where the entire developing world is saying, wait a minute, it's not just about climate change, it's about climate justice. You should give us money to embark on renewable energy. All we have in Nigeria today is fossil fuel. I'm talking about petroleum resources. Our crude is our major source of revenue. Accounts for about 70% of our revenue, about 25% of our foreign exchange. The world is now saying, because of global warming, we should not use or sell crude. Without selling crude, we cannot build roads, we cannot build airports, we cannot even fund our education. So we are now asking the entire world, fine, we are ready not to sell our crude. We are ready not to further pollute the universe. However, you must pay for it. So this question asked is what the entire world is actually discussing today in Egypt. I thank you very much.
Thank Thank you, Excellency. We balance a little bit. We'll go to you, sir, with your questions. You're having the best session today, right? So can we have your question?
Morning, everyone. My name is Oluwa Dijimi Fakaya Smith. My school is Pampas Private School. And I have one. Does Nollywood have any effect on the number of tourists that visit Nigeria?
Climate change will have any effect on tourists that visit Nigeria?
Nollywood. His question was, does Nollywood have any effect on tourism in Nigeria? Correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you very much. You know, I'm getting old, so even my ears are getting old. Yes, you are right. And it's a very, very valid question. Very interesting. You see, when we talk about tourism, some countries are blessed with rivers. Some are blessed with lakes. Some are blessed with mountains. Some are blessed with snow. Some are blessed with cultural heritage. And this is why people want to visit there. When we were in Arusha about a month or so ago, we saw how many people came to Arusha to look at the Lake Victoria, the biggest lake probably in Africa. But Nigeria is fortunate that we are blessed with all. We have destinations, we have cultural heritage, and we have music, we have the Nollywood, as you rightly said. And one, I think, if two particular sectors have put Nigeria's name on the tourism global map, it is Nollywood and our music. I think I listened to this young lady, and he spoke about the Davidos of this world. He talked about Wizkid. He talked about Bado. And just in the same light, you see that our actors and actresses have put our name on the global map. Many of our actors and actresses are so popular that many people want to come to Nigeria to come and see them, to come and see the home of Nollywood. And that is why I'm glad that even at this conference, we are devoting a whole day to a day with Nollywood, which is on Wednesday. This will provide a forum for everybody worldwide to interact and meet our producers, meet our actors, our actresses, meet our content producers, and even part of the renovation of this National Theatre is also going to provide a very good help and a very good platform for the Nollywood. Especially one of the verticals that is being built is like a kind of film institute that will improve the acting prowess and ability of our people. So yes, to answer your question, Nollywood is a great magnet for tourists to Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency. Moving on, can we have the next question from you? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Zafira Amin, and I'm from Pampas Private School. And I have two questions under peace and tourism. Question 1. What is the relationship between tourism and peace? Question 2. Are there any ways through which people can be made to understand the relationship between tourism and peace?
Peace is very important today, as you see. And imagine without peace, tourism, it's impossible. No, with the wars and with the situations we have all around, I mean, it's impossible to develop tourism. And tourism is another instrument for peace. When we are traveling, we have more friends, we are changing, our cultures, our habits, and there are many ways and many examples when tourism changed and approach the nations and approach the people to each other. So peace is very important for tourism, and this is crucial, and we see many different, unfortunately, bad scenarios today, but we hope that everything will be put in proper way, and finally peace will be all around the world. The second question was?
The second question is, are there any ways through which people can be made to understand the relationship between tourism and peace?
Yeah, we have our strategy, and we promote the tourism for peace. And again, I mean, it go to each other, you know. Without peace, it's impossible tourism, and tourism can create a peace. And this is what we are promoting, and this is what we want to support worldwide. Thank you.
Let's applaud them, because we can see that the topics are really moving from different points. Minister, you wanted to add something?
I think that's, I find that question again very exciting and very interesting. And like the SG has said, there's of course a correlation between peace and tourism. Tourism allows you to go from one place to the other. And what it does is that when you go to a place, you begin to learn more about the people. You begin to understand that they might be different, they are just very much like you. For instance, many people who have not been to Nigeria will think Nigeria is at war, or that Lagos is being occupied by Boko Haram, or that bandits are everywhere in Nigeria. But when they come to Nigeria and they see how peaceful the people are, how friendly they are, it changes their minds and their mindset about Nigeria. So in a way, tourism breaks down barriers. It breaks down differences. It makes people understand, other people, and that would breed peace. And then the tools of tourism, such as music, such as films, allows you also to learn more about the people, their ways of lives. You respect them, and that way you are going to find, a lot of, peace. I remember that a couple of years ago, the relationship between South Africa and Nigeria was very frayed, and the South Africans were asking Nigerians to come back. They were destroying, there was a lot of upheaval, and somebody suggested to us that Aki Popo and one other, artists, they are so popular in South Africa that if only if we send them there, there will be peace. So you can see how a few people, like musicians and like Nollywood actors and actresses, have actually been able to bring peace, among two nations. And we see anytime I watch a concert of either Davido or Wizkid or Fino, and I see how whites, blacks, browns, and everybody from the world, every part of the world, how they unite and they rejoice. For that moment, it's not like football. People forget that they are white or they are black. So yes, tourism and peace are, very, related, and we must always let, sell our tourism assets so that there will be more peace in the world. Thank you.
Indeed, thank you. Thank you, Excellency. Moving on to you, the next question.
My name is Ethan Obeche, and I'm from Pampas Private School. And I have two questions under jobs and tourism. Number one, in countries which tourism is seen as not to be, in countries where tourism is not seen to be very important, how can young people be made to see tourism as a job provider? Number two, how can we help women to participate and make more money from tourism?
Thank you.
Very important question. And I mentioned before that tourism is the best way to create new jobs. As much tourists are coming, I will try to explain in a simple way. No, as much tourists will come to your country, to your city, as much job we will need, because we will need more transport, we will need more. You will need more entertainment places, restaurants, hotels. Hotels need the personnel to serve, you know. So this is it's go to each other, you know. So it's the best and fastest way to create new jobs. So we really hope that with the transformation of Nigeria, of Lagos, in a touristic destination, it will create very fast a lot of jobs. But don't forget that at the same time we need to be ready and to be prepared for it. That's why education is another very important part, and we are trying, and I will mix both your questions, that we are trying, and I'm sure that in very quickly we will start to put the subject tourism in schools. In schools you will start to learn tourism like a subject, like you are studying math, you are studying geography, you are studying, I don't know, another different things, no? Again, tourism is the fastest recipient to create new jobs, and this is our objective. Our objective is to create new jobs via tourism, and we are promoting it, that's why we are here again. So the future of your country is in tourism, I'm pretty sure, and it will create new jobs and more revenues for all families in Nigeria. That's why you have to be ready. You have to think about where is your role, where you see yourself in tourism sector. Tourism, it's not only hotel and plane, as I mentioned. Once the guests are here, first of all, they need smile, they need hospitality. So in hospitality business, let's say, there are lots of opportunities and possibilities. It was mentioned Nollywood, it was mentioned art, creative industry, articrafts, I mean, gastronomy. These are the components where you will find your place and space, I'm sure. And this is the future of tourism, and this is the future of tourism in Nigeria and in Africa. Thank you.
Thank you, SG. I will just probably try and support SG with some figures and numbers that relate to Nigeria. You know, after COVID-19, we were concerned in our ministry. We wanted to know how much COVID-19 had affected the creative industry. And that was when we found out that creative industry is not just music, it's not just film. It actually also means hospitality industry, it actually also means gastronomy, it means fashion, it means makeup. And then we began to realize how much this industry is contributing to Nigeria's economy. For instance, the revenue from music alone was about 300 billion naira in 2020. That's music. The film industry, about 170 billion naira revenue. But we were surprised that the fashion industry brought in 2 trillion naira. Trillion, not billion, naira. And we began to wonder that you mean the fashion industry in Nigeria it's creating so many jobs and bringing so much revenue. Then we realized again that the beauty, hair, is it hair care and beauty was 1.2 trillion naira. So when I got home, I asked my wife, how come that this industry is so huge? And my wife told me that, you see, most women today, with due respect, who are 40 and above, they don't know how to tie their gele or headgear. So people come out to come and tie their geles and headgears for them. Some charge 40,000. Some charge, 10,000. Some charge 20,000. So you can see how this industry, this creative industry, is creating money, a lot of money for young people. And that is why it's important for every country to put emphasis on the creative industry.
50% of application. We received around 10,000 applications from worldwide, and 50% was from Nigeria. Imagine. No, this is coincidence that we are here, but this is the reality. So what does it mean? That means that you have a talent, you have lots of projects, and you need support. You need support to these projects to be internationalized and to export outside of country. Because what you are doing here, it's not enough for tourism. Tourism now is became, and all our trips, we saw the statistics that 95% of our trips worldwide are made by digital platforms. Nobody is printing now the tickets, and they change a lot. And we want to promote these assets and use these assets to attract more tourists, to attract more diverse kind of tourists who will travel in Africa not only for see animals or safari, to come here and to see and to feel the part of this beautiful continent, to feel and to see what they never seen in their life. It never was mentioned, they are all culture, the part of Africa. It always was safari. People are coming here to go to the forest. Of course, this is also unique and authentic, but there is another big part which is absolutely undiscovered yet, or discovered and not well. We were talking a lot about gastronomy. African gastronomy, it's another treasure you have here, but unfortunately people didn't know about it. We started together with you to promote the African gastronomy outside, and to promote and to give more knowledge, to modernize the African gastronomy here with several partners. So this is a long-term process. It will never happen in one day, but this is the beginning, what we are doing today. This is the good and nice start to do it, and somebody somehow has to do it. And if we don't do it, nobody will do it in the future. So that's why we are together. That's why I'm very thankful again to have numbers of ministers coming with us. We will promote and we will continue this kind of events, this kind of meetings with you. We are learning from you many things. All questions was fantastic, very well prepared. And I really feel with you like our brothers and sisters ministers when we're sitting in the panel. And thank you very much. Have a good luck. I wish you all the best. We agree that we are friends.
Thank you very much. I just want to thank all of you. I want to admit that in my 8 years as a minister, I've never been grilled like I've been grilled this morning by these young people. I think you have put myself and the CSG, you put us to task. And I'm sure we can sit down today and write an examination.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's applaud the students from the Pampas Private School. They've been brilliant. They were very consistent. They touched on all the different points related to the topic today that I will invite Emanuela. Can we have the other ministers also join for the picture, please? Excellencies, please wait. So when the other ministers join. We've gone a little bit beyond our time, but I'm sure you will all agree with me that it was a brilliant session, and we can then allow and proceed with the second part of the session after the picture. Thank you. Thank you. Once again, let's applaud the students.
Well, thank you very much to those students for wonderful questions. And I noticed they said a lot about their school. Pampas, I mean, that shows their generation. If it was my time, I'm sure we'll be doing something like Napkins Community School. We want to appreciate the representative of the Honorable Minister of Education, Malam Adamu Adamu, is represented here today by the Director General of the National Commission for UNESCO, Mr. Olagunju Idowu Latif. Thank you very much, sir. May I also thank the Permanent Secretary, Kaduna State Ministry of Business, Innovation and Technology, Dr. Yusuf Saleh. Thank you for coming through. And the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Hospitality, Plateau State, Mr. Isaac M. Maran, I hope I got that correct, is here, and he has a large delegation with him, including the General Manager, Plateau State Tourism Corporation, Mr. Julius S. Shinkur, and Hajia Zulay Aminu, Director, Tourism, Plateau State, Nigeria. Thank you very much. May I also add and appreciate the organized private sector. We have with us the DG for the African International Documentary Festival Foundation, AFI, DFF. They are helping to tell Africa, to tell their stories. Madam Malami Manja is with us. Please put your hands together for her. Thank you very much. They have helped to work on the Suku cultural landscape. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. They are giving it a facelift and helping to renew and restore its old state. So distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in a few minutes we'll be taking into the major decisions, and I announced earlier that we have the symposium in this central area. So the symposium is both in English and have a French translator, but for everybody you can stay here for the symposium. But for the other two discussions and breakout sessions, the discussion around tourism and culture will happen behind that barricade, and the discussion around tourism and the creative industry will happen to my left. The barricade to the left, that's to your right. So both of them, but this side presentations are for people who are pre-registered. If you know you did not pre-register, just stay for the conference and you'll enjoy what they will be missing. So please, majorly, that is what I need to prepare us for. If you did not pre-register for the side discussions, for the master classes, please just allow those who register, because we have very limited spaces there and they will take it up. But the conference is also very important, and we're talking about issues here. So quickly, I'll want to invite one who has been described differently by many people. He's an international development expert, he's a project manager, he's a policy analyst, the master's in business admin and economics. He had also worked in a bank. Okay, maybe not in a big bank, your regular bank, maybe in the World Bank. But distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome one who prepares us and tells us exactly what will happen in the next phase. So before I bring him up, I also want to plead with us that those who are for the side workshops, you can move now. I know some of you have presentations there. Let's have you move to those sides so that we can have you quickly do this, because they are all happening simultaneously. I'm sure I passed that message already. For the tourism and culture discussion, it's happening to my right. And for the tourism and the creative industry, it's happening to my left. tourism and creative industry to my right, and then tourism and the creative industry to my left. That's to your right and to your left. So let's use your own now since you're using it, so that I'm seeing somebody a little confused. Can we get it now? Tourism and culture to your left. To your left. This is my right, but it's your left. And then tourism and the creative industries is to my left, but to your right. Can we just move quickly so that we get this started? The conference, remember, is staying here. If you did not pre-register, please just remain where you are, and I want to assure you that you will enjoy every benefit that accrues to you.